Thank you to Vice Chancellor Jaspal Singh Ji for having created the Center for Diaspora Studies and getting the UGC to endorse this project and see it through to fruition. Thank you to Dr. Tajinder Kaur, the director, who has seen this through many years and who I had the pleasure of meeting 2 years ago when she invited me to be a special guest at the conference 2 years ago. Thank you to Dr. Manjeet Singh for having done that over-the-top introduction. I've never been introduced in such detail in my life. Thank you to Dr. Jasvinder Singh for sitting in and giving us a stimulating talk, which really captures a lot of what I was going to say, that we need to think of diaspora not just in economic terms, but in cultural terms and in terms of the experience. So he stole my thunder from me, so I don't have much left to say. No. I thought I'd just take a few minutes, since I have a time tomorrow to give a talk, to just talk about a few things that occurred to me as I was reading through the call for papers and thinking about the title of this conference. I mean, we have the title above us, and it seems like there's some terms in that title that we can roll around and think about for a few minutes in our mind. But I think we've already hit on a number of the important points, right? In the call for papers, the organizers emphasized that diaspora is both affected by and affects development, right? So it's not the diaspora doing development, but development is part of the thing that creates diaspora, right? So it's a dialectical. I think Dr. Manjeet Singh said that at the very beginning, that we have this dialectical relationship between diaspora being created by social changes that are taking place, and in turn affecting subsequent social changes that are taking place. And of course, those social changes that are taking place in all the places, right? So social changes are not just taking place in India as a result of having a diaspora sending things here, but the social changes are taking place in those various places where Indians, Punjabis, Sikhs have gone and are living, right? And another key question that they raised for us in the call for papers that I think is really important, and we haven't talked so much about yet, is this key question of how diaspora and development affects equity issues, right? We often think of the diaspora and development as a way to sort of improve things for everyone, but obviously we know that some places are better endowed, some people have more people going abroad, some people get more remittances back. The effects are hardly equal, right? So even in Punjab, if we look at those migration sending areas, they're in a position to benefit from the effects of it, for good and for bad, as we've reminded, right? This Jasvinder's thing, right, in terms of the effects that diaspora is having on social change in those areas. And also, as Dr. Jasvinder Singh has just mentioned, how important it is to think about experience, consciousness, the effect on values that this has. I mean, when we see that title up there, Diaspora and Development, immediately some people are thinking, oh, economics, GDP, all of that. And as Dr. Jasvinder Singh has just reminded us, diaspora and its remittances have effect not just material, but ideological, ideational, in terms of consciousness, in terms of awareness, in terms of possible changes in values. So those are things that have already been discussed, and really you don't need me here to talk about those sort of things. But I did want to say a few more words about diaspora, because it is such an interesting term, and as some people say, there's a diaspora of the term diaspora. That term diaspora itself has gone into so many different disciplines, into so many different fields, that it's sort of a free-floating signifier that one doesn't quite know what to make of it. And we've already had some sense of that, where Dr. Manjeet Singh reminded us at the beginning that diaspora isn't just a bunch of isolated people sitting over in some place. There has to be something more to have sort of a diaspora. It's not simply something bestowed upon a collection of transnationally dispersed individuals who happen to be sitting out there but having to share some sort of ancestry that's congruent with what are now national or regional territorial boundaries, right? There's nothing about that other than that they would just be these dispersed people that we academics have said, oh, there's this diaspora, right? Rather, I think it's important that we think of diaspora as a sort of claimed identity, right? It's claimed by people in the name of their transnational imagined community by which they assert a common ancestral home, a shared historical experience, and crucially, a moral co-responsibility, right? In my sense, I mean, the sort of most extreme sense of diaspora is to say that in a diaspora you have to have consciousness of your connection to these fellow people and a sense of sort of co-responsibility for what happens in their interests wherever they may be. So that's sort of the extreme, right? So on the one hand, you have this sort of notion, it's just a bunch of people that disperse from a place, we'll call them a diaspora. On the other hand, you restrict the term diaspora to those people that really do consciously think of themselves as being connected in more than superficial ways. And of course, the use of diaspora goes everywhere from that pole to that pole. And one of the things we need to think about then is how the term is being used, right? And of course, it goes right to the title of the thing up there, India/Punjabi diaspora. Depending upon what definition we have of diaspora, how do we want to distinguish what's an Indian diaspora versus a Punjabi diaspora versus a South Asian diaspora versus a Sikh diaspora, right? And each of those sort of diasporas that have been described probably have different relationships among them, right? South Asian diasporas, do all South Asians everywhere think of themselves as equally co-responsible to each other? Maybe not, maybe so, but that's something to interrogate. So that if we think of diaspora as a claim, then what we sort of need to investigate, it seems to me, is who's making the claim, what is the claim that's being made, where are they making the claim, what people where are making this claim that they're part of a diaspora, when is this claim being made, right? Was the Sikh diaspora there before 1984, or did that consciousness come about as a result of historical things? So who, what, where, when, why, what were the conditions under which people consciously thought of themselves as having these co-responsibility to fellow people in the diaspora, and how are they articulating it, how is the claim being made, how is it reflected in literature, in politics, in all sorts of domains, right? In different kinds of discourses that affect it, right? So that sort of is my thoughts on diaspora, sparked by the wonderful call for papers that I received from the organizers here. With respect to development as a term, we've already started to deconstruct that term here today, right? We're not simply going to follow policymakers who might want to restrict it to economistic sort of things, or to evolutionary ideas about development meaning sort of material progress, right? And it would be better, it seems, and I often do this myself, is to put the term in scare quotes, development in scare quotes, that is around it, to suggest that what we're really talking about is social change or social and cultural change, right? That have many dimensions that include the economic, but go well beyond the economic, right? So development has lots of different dimensions, and it has lots of different possible consequences besides progressive ones, as we've been talked about. So if we do understand development to involve dynamics, social, cultural, political, environmental, beyond the economic, then of course it does make sense to study it from a multidisciplinary perspective, right? If we're going to understand development to have all those dimensions, then we need people that are economists, political scientists, historians, literature people, anthropologists, and whatnot to discover, right? And if that's true, if the latter, that we're going to do it with all these disciplines sitting at the table, then in a sense, what we aspire to is really an interdisciplinary conversation, maybe rather than a multidisciplinary conversation. And one of the things I was pleased to see that the conveners of this conference had done is not only to gather together people from all these different disciplines, but instead of segregating us onto panels where we would only talk to people in our own discipline, they had mixed us up so that I could listen to literature, and literature people could listen to anthropologists and economists and political scientists. At first I thought, that's strange, you know, why would you put these literature people with the economists and the anthropologists? But if we really want to have a conversation across disciplines, and we really believe that both diaspora and development are multidimensional phenomena that would benefit from having people from all these different disciplines at the table, then we need to have that interdisciplinary conversation. And so I'm excited to see the program for the next 3 days. I'm excited to be able to sit in on these panels, and I look forward to being part of the conversation. So, thank you.
Now we'll have, before the Vice Chancellor addresses the audience, we'll have 2 ceremonies. One is the release of books, as pointed out by Dr. Kaur. We organized a conference on diasporic cinema last year, as some people would be remembering and recollecting. So the book is ready, and it is to be released by the Vice Chancellor. Approval to work on 5 countries where Punjabi diaspora is located. And the first volume is ready, and we are very pleased to get it published. And
Sir.
Dr. Tatla was to be with us because he...
and a memento for...
Thank you so much.
Very much pleased that UGC Center for Diaspora Studies has organized this international conference on a very, very important topic. I congratulate the center for this venture. It is indeed a matter of satisfaction as well as pride that the center, since its inception, has undertaken a number of academic activities for highlighting the diverse achievements of Punjabi diaspora spread across various continents and geographies of the world. The Center of Diaspora Studies was established keeping in view the mandate of Punjabi University for promotion of Punjabi culture, history, literature, art, social life and other allied areas. In fact, diaspora having become a very significant component of contemporary Punjabi Sikh identity, both at home and in the host societies, naturally requires serious academic study and research for understanding several routes and trajectories of its migration. It is with this motive that the center was established, and since the UGC has also granted its approval, which I am sure will further strengthen and broad-base the center's vision and goal in future. Let me talk about something about the Punjabi diaspora, as has already been discussed. Punjabi diaspora, given its dynamism and spirit of adventure, along with bold character of its people, has been numerous ups and downs following colonization, decolonization, and independence of India, again while remembering the partition of the country as well as 1984 rights. Nevertheless, despite some dark spots in migratory process, Punjabi diaspora has deeply impacted nearly all fields: trade, industry, education, philanthropy, economy, and agriculture, IT sector also, and social services. It is not only that Punjabis hold on to their traditional and religious assets and historical memories, but they have also shown exemplary zeal to modernize themselves for reaching out to and becoming part of the competitive global Western world, where work, skill, achievement is the prime yardstick for claiming a reasonable citizenship. Punjabi's contribution to politics and economic life in the West and elsewhere are clear indications of its progressive character, and they have also tried to lift people's public life in their home. It may be the village or city or institution or social sphere. The focus of this conference is on several significant areas relevant to the theme of the conference, and such as the distinction between old and new diaspora and migration, immigration policies, etc. I am sure that the deliberations in the conference over the next 2 days will result in a meaningful exchange about several contested areas of diaspora experience. I once again congratulate the Center of Diaspora Studies for organizing this very important conference on a very, very relevant contemporary topic. I am sincerely thankful to Professor Desenbury for accepting the invitation of the center and for coming here and for delivering wonderful lecture on this particular occasion. Jaswinder Singh has also made a contribution as far as his presentation is concerned, so I am thankful to all of them. I can just share 1 or 2 points. Number 1, I was listening to the lecture of Jaswinder and again by Desenbury, Dr. Desenbury. My impression is that Punjabi diaspora has made enormous contribution as far as the mandate of this university, as we all know, is to promote Punjabi language, literature, culture, etc. So I think the biggest contribution diaspora has made is that they have contributed a lot as far as promotion of Punjabi language, literature and culture. So that contribution has to be recognized, and I always give it a due credit that the people living outside the country, diaspora from Punjabi community has contributed a lot. I can give a number of examples for that. I think you all know that how much contribution they have made as far as the promotion of Punjabi language and culture. I have got some data. I do not know whether this data is 100% correct or may not be that correct. But I know that Punjabi has been given a reasonable status as far as language is concerned in Canada. It has been given a due status as far as language is concerned. We have been fighting in this country for decades together to get a suitable place for Punjabi language in Delhi, Punjabi language in Haryana, Punjabi language at some other places. But I'm really very much satisfied by the contribution made the Canadian Punjabis, the diasporic community in Canada, that they have been able to secure a important place for Punjabi language in Canada. Even in Britain, as far as my knowledge goes, the Punjabi has been given due status as far as and with the efforts taken up by the diaspora from Punjabi community. Even in Singapore, I have been to Singapore and I have some contacts with those people. The government of Singapore has given a status, a special status, sort of special status to Punjabi. I do not know whether the Pakistani Punjabis are diaspora community or they consider we are diaspora community, but but I'm very happy that people living in Pakistan, they are agitating for last few years, and particularly I think 3-4 days back, they have announced that they will take up a march from one place to other place for securing maybe some status, higher status for Punjabi language in Pakistan. So that these are the, I'm not saying that Pakistan is a diasporic community, but outside India, the Pakistani Punjabis are struggling and they are making efforts to secure some governmental or official status for the Punjabi language. So I am very happy that and ਉਹਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਏਗੀ ਜਸਵਿੰਦਰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਵੈਸੇ ਪਰ ਉਹ ਸਮਝਦਾ ਪਿਆ ਥੋੜੀਆਂ ਥੋੜੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਤੇ in Toronto I have been there for 3-4-5 times in last 3-4-5 years. तो ਮੈਨੂੰ ਉੱਥੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਬਈ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਗੋਰਾ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਇੰਨਾ ਤੋਂ ਟੋਰਾਂਟੋ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੰਜਾਬੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਬੋਲਬਾਲਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ they have seen today a white man in Toronto locality. So that shows the space they have captured as far as the social and otherwise the space is there. So when you just land in Vancouver, you will find written outside the airport, जिथे welcome gate है, तो जी आया नू, ਤਾਂ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਔਰ I think in 2011 the people of Vancouver and Surrey and other Canadian people, they asked me that I should do something of the same kind so that GINU is written outside the international airport in Delhi. So I met the CM of that time, Sheila Dikshit ji. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਮੇਰੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਅੱਛੇ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਸਨ। ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਮੈਡਮ ਮੇਰਾ ਇੱਕ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਦਿਓ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜੋ ਤੂੰ ਕਹੇਗਾ ਮੈਂ ਕਰਾਂਗੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਜੀਆਂ ਲਿਖਾ ਦਿਓ। ਤਾਂ ਅਲਟੀਮੇਟਲੀ ਉਹਨੇ ਹੱਥ ਖੜੇ ਕਰਤੇ ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਇਟ ਇਜ਼ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਏਅਰਪੋਰਟ ਸੋ ਇਟ ਕੈਨ ਨਾਟ ਬੀ ਰਿਟਨ। ਉਹਦਾ ਕਸੂਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, ਸਾਡਾ ਮਾਈਂਡ ਸੈਟ ਹੈ ਜਿਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਐਨੀ ਹਾਓ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ when I look at the contribution made by the people living outside, diasporic community living outside this country, they have enormous love for Punjabi language, literature and culture. बाकी गल्लां मैं नहीं कहांगा विआह किद्दां हुंदा है, डाइवोर्स किद्दां हुंदा है, मेरा कोई लेना देना नहीं उसदे नाल, पर मनु एक कंट्रीब्यूशन उन्हां दा बहुत वड्डा लगदा है। पूरी दी पूरी एक मार्केट है जिथे तुहानूं पराठा मिल जाएगा, चूल्हा मिल जाएगा, है और ढाबा मिल जाएगा, ना भी ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਰੱਖਣੇ। ਸੋ that shows the love they have for their culture. ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਲਚਰ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ ਗਏ ਨੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਉੱਥੇ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। This is what is like that ਕਿ ਬਈ ਉਹ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਉਹੋ ਜਿਹੀ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ। ਐਂਡ ਦੂਸਰਾ on a very serious note, I can make this statement that the Punjabi living outside, diasporic Punjabi community has made an enormous contribution to the political and social life of our country, starting from the days of Ghadar movement. Keep in mind one thing, that the Ghadar movement was started in America and Canada, and ultimately we got the freedom. And they made the sacrifices. For example, Kartar Singh Sraba, youngest Ghadarite, his area of activity was America, Canada. Uthe kar raha siga apni activity. Kamagata Maru, some way I consider Kamagata Maru incident as a diasporic incident and how these people made great sacrifices. I was there at Sacramento where the Jugantar Ashram, the main office of Ghadar movement, is still situated. It has been renovated by the Indian embassy there and it's a decent building now. And the records, library and everything has been preserved here as far as our freedom movement is concerned. So they have made sacrifices for the country, for the liberation of this country, for the independence of the country. So when I look at the socio-political life of my country and contribution of Punjabi diaspora as far as freedom struggle is. And also after partition, after freedom was achieved, they made enormous contribution, as has been mentioned also, even in this university, otherwise educational institutions and other areas, they are making their contributions as far as Punjabi diasporic community. ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਡਾਇਸਪੋਰਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕੀ ਹੈ, ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਆਈ ਹੈਵ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ of defining diaspora. मैं एक बंदे नाल घूमी जा रहा, 3 दिन घूमी जा रहा, 2 करोड़ की उहदे कोल गड्डी है और बड़ा वड्डा उहदा मकान है, बहुत ऐश विच रह रहा है। और जदों मैनूं जिस दिन मैं जाना सी उस दिन वो रो पैंदा है। मैं कहा तू क्यों रो रहा? कहंदा जी मैं तुहानूं जानदा 1981 दा, ते मैं कहा तू कल दा नहीं दस रहा कि मैं तुहानूं जानदा। कहंदा तुसीं मेरी बड़ी मदद की थी आफ्टर 1984, आफ्टर ब्लू स्टार ऑपरेशन, आफ्टर 84 riots in Delhi, I left India and I came to this country. तो मैं क्या चल कोई नहीं, हुण तू 2 करोड़ की तेरे कोल गड्डी है, इन्ना वधिया मकान है, तेनू ते माइग्रेशन रास आ गई है, तू तो डायस्पोरा आइकॉनिक डायस्पोरा मेरा। तो वो पता है की कहंदा है, रो के कह रहा है, कहंदा डॉक्टर साहब अगर मैनू 1 कमरे का फ्लैट दवा दो ना उत्थे, और मैनू गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया को दोबारा इजाजत दवा दो कि आई कैन कम बैक टू माई कंट्री, I am ready to sacrifice whatever I have earned in last 30 years. So ये मैनू लगता है कि किते ना किते जिहड़ा डायस्पोरा है ना, उहदी अपनी समस्यावां ने और अपनी तरह, और मैं इनू इस तरह कहना कि डायस्पोरा की होंद की है, what is the identity of diaspora। तो मैनू ये लगता है कि मूलवास की सामूहिक याद जिहड़ी है वो डायस्पोरा है। जिथे दे तुसीं मूल वासी हो उत्थे दी जिहड़ी सामूहिक कलैक्टिव जिहड़ी मैमरी है वो डायस्पोरा मैनूं लगदी है। डायस्पोरा वो है कि मैं अपने मूल वास नूं कलैक्टिव रूप में एज कम्यूनिटी, एज ए डायस्पोरिक कम्यूनिटी मैं उन्हें याद करदा। फिर मैनूं लगता है डायस्पोरा की होंद इस कारण हुंदी है क्योंकि वो मातभूमि नूं याद करदा है। जिदन वो मातभूमि नूं याद करना छड्ड देवे, ही इज नो मोर डायस्पोरा। He is diaspora, a person is diasporic, belongs to a diasporic community till he remembers the motherland, the original host, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੂਲ ਵਾਸੀ ਦਾ ਦੇਸ਼ ਹੈ, ਜਦ ਤੱਕ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਦਾ ਉਹ ਡਾਇਸਪੋਰਾ ਹੈ। ਸਾਨੂੰ ਧਿਆਨ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਡਾਇਸਪੋਰਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, they are part and parcel of this land। डायस्पोरा मूल वासी दी सामूहिक याद होंगी है, मैनूं लगता है कि इस तरह। और जी ये सामूहिक याद है ना, इनू मैं डिफाइन करने की कोशिश करता सी पिछे कि जी सामूहिक याद है, जी मेरी कलैक्टिव मैमरी है, मैं उहदा मतलब भाषा, उहदा मतलब सभ्याचार, उहदा मतलब विरासत, उहदा मतलब इतिहास, ये सारा कुछ मिला के सामूहिक याद है। मैं जो बाहर जाना, मैं जो उन्होंने नाल बहंदा तो वो मेरे नाल 18वीं सदी का इतिहास डिस्कस करते हैं, वो मेरे नाल छोटे साहिबजादियां की गल करनगे, वो मेरे नाल बाबे नानक की गल करनगे, वो मेरे नाल बुल्ले शाह की गल करनगे, वो मेरे नाल शाह हाशम की, उन्हां दी जिहड़ी साडी जिहड़ी कलैक्टिव याद है उहदे विच इतिहास शामिल है, उहदे विच भाषा शामिल है, उहदे विच सभ्याचार शामिल है, उस विच मेरी विरासत जिहड़ी है शामिल है। तो मैं उहनूं डायस्पोरा कहना कि जिहदे कोल कलैक्टिव मैमरी है ऑफ this land which they left years together, last maybe decades they have left this। और फिर एक गल होर मैं कहांगा, इहदे विच 2 राय हो सकती है जिहड़ी मैं गल कहण जा रहा, वो है कि डायस्पोरा हमेशा अपने मूल वास का आदर्शीकरण करता है, ऑलवेज अपनी जिथों गया हुंदा है उन्होंने ग्लोरीफाई करता है, उन्होंने आदर्शीकरण उहदा करता रहता है। ये ठीक है, विचों अपनी माइग्रेशन नूं जस्टिफाई करने लई कदी कदाई वो मेरे नाल होया एक बारी, आई वाज टू रिलीज दी वॉल्यूम ऑफ गदर मूवमेंट इन सैक्रामेंटो एंड दी स्टेट सेक्रेटरी वाज अनाउंसिंग वन नेम आफ्टर दी अदर, वन नेम आफ्टर दी अदर। लास्ट विच मैं बोलना सी, मेरे बोलण तो पहला वो कहंदा एक बंदा ना मुक्तसर तो आया, उन्हें 2 मिनट तुहाडे नाल गल करनी, तो मैं कहा कर लवे गल। तो वो जो तू आतार बोलिया पंजाब च ये हो गया, हिंदुस्तान च ये हो गया, गरीबी है, फलाना है, वो बोली जा रहे। तो गदर मूवमेंट नालों का कोई लेना देना नहीं है। गदर मूवमेंट का वॉल्यूम रिलीज करना और गदर मूवमेंट पे वो बोलना है, और 2-3 मिनट जो है उन्हें बिचों ले ले, एंड ही वॉज नॉट ए इनवाइटेड गेस्ट। तो उस बाद जो मैं बोलना सी तो जो स्टेज सैकटरी ने वो कहते हैं देखिए देखो भरा जी इतने आप आए हैं गदर मूवमेंट पर गल करने वास्ते, तो सानू गदर तो इलावा कोई नहीं गल करनी चाहिए। मैं कहा हुण कल्ला मैं रह गया, मनु कह रहा है, जिन्हें बोलना सी वो बोल गया, उसके बाद मैं अपना बोल लिया। शाम को खाना खाते हैं मैं उन्होंने कहा यार तू एक ही किया, ही इज वेरी गुड फ्रेंड ऑफ माइंड फॉर लॉन्ग टाइम। मैं कहा इन्ना सोहना सवेर तो 10 बजे तो फंक्शन चल रहा सी, तो 4 बजे आके मैं बोलना सी, मेरे तो पहले एक अजनबी बंदा खड़ा कर दिता, कौन है कौन नहीं मैं नहीं जानता, पर वो गालां कड्ढी जा रहा सी सारिਆਂ ਨੂੰ कि कख नहीं है पंजाब च, हिंदुस्तान च भी कख नहीं है। वो कहता समझिया करो ना, सारिਆਂ ਨੂੰ खुश करना है ना। मैं कहा ठीक है भाई, ये मजबूरियां हो सकती ने, पर अदरवाइज आई कैन सिंपली टेल यू दैट दे वांट टू ग्लोरीफाई दी कंट्री ऑफ देयर जी जिथों माइग्रेट किया, उस मूल वास को आदर्शीकरण करते हैं। उसका कभी कदाई ठीक है वो मजबूरियां जोड़ा। फिर जोड़ा डायस्पोरिक कम्यूनिटी है जिहदे कोलों विछड़ जाती है उसे नाल मिलण की इच्छा रखती है, ये वो डायस्पोरा है। उसे नाल गल मिल जाण की हमेशा उसके मन च चाहत रहती है, और उसे नाल वो नेड़ता बनाना चाहता है। इस वास्ते वो पॉलिटिक्स से बोलता है। उन्हें यह नहीं पता कि न्यूयॉर्क की होया, पर उन्होंने पता है कि खन्ने की वापरिया। He knows what is happening in Jalandhar, he knows what is happening in Chandigarh। वो अपनी नेड़ता जी है उस धरती नाल रखना चाहता है। वो कई शेड हो सकते हैं, पॉजिटिव नैगेटिव मैं नहीं जा रहे कहना चाहता, पर डायस्पोरा की ये गुण है कि वो नेड़ता जी है अपने मूल वास नाल एक्सप्रैस करनी चाहता है, और फिर वो लगातार संवाद में रहना चाहता है अपने मूल वास नाल। डायस्पोरा वो है जिहड़ा ऑलवेज सीक्स a sort of a continuous dialogue with the जितों वो माइग्रेट किया है। तो मनु लगता है कि जो पंजाबी डायस्पोरा है उन इस लिहाज नाल सानू होर ज़्यादा देखना चाहिए कि वो किस तरह संवाद करता है, किस तरह ग्लोरीफाई करता है अपने, किस तरह वो पंजाबी कल्चर लैंग्वेज और पंजाबी लिटरेचर को प्रमोट करने वास्ते जिन्नियां मैगजीनां जिन्नियां अखबारां कैनेडा तो निकलदियां ने, अमेरिका तो निकलदियां ने, शायद उन्नियां अखबारां उन्हां गुरमुखी लिपि विच भी ध्यान च रखना, उन्नियां अखबारां उन्हें पर्चे शायद असीं भी नहीं कर सकते होइए। सो वी सैल्यूट द कंट्रीब्यूशन मेड बाय द पंजाबी डायस्पोरिक कम्युनिटी थ्रू आउट द वर्ल्ड। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
To present a vote of thanks.
Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Diaspora Singh ji, Madam Vice Chancellor Professor Jeet Kaur ji, Sundari, keynote speaker Dr. Jaswinder Singh, Director, coordinator of this project, Professor Manjeet, delegates from different countries and from different areas, students, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor for me to propose a vote of thanks for all of those and also to those who tried to contribute but they could not because of some. We are always having patronage from the Vice Chancellor for this center. Rather, it was his center from the university side with the university funds, and then we got recognition from the UGC, and it is perhaps the second center in the country to be recognized by UGC for diaspora studies. Dr. Duswar, he mentioned about the contributions. It was an eye-opener for most of us. It was mainly discussing the cultural development with respect to diaspora, and he had some. The Honorable Vice Chancellor, he compiled it up that we should talk about only. He has been very, very actively involved in preserving our culture, our language. Our university has started available on the net, And we have received tremendous support from diaspora communities from all over the world, at least from people who want to contribute towards that and who want to make that success better. So that shows that they are always tied to the roots, and they are definitely, we learn a lot about contributions of the diaspora. Thank you very much.
मैं कल की थी start study of diasporic community in different regions. So I am very happy that the first project has been completed, and Punjabi Diaspora and Britain, this has been published. Generally ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਜਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਫਿਰ ਭੁੱਲ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, ਪਰ I am really grateful and compliment the center for bringing out this volume, Punjabi Diaspora and Britain. And I think in next 2-3 years we will be able to bring out different volumes of this type of study, maybe Punjabi Diaspora in Canada, Punjabi Diaspora in Southeast Asia or Malaysia or Southeast Australia and other countries, USA. So I'm really complimenting the center for completing this work. Thank you very much.
Of this valedictory session, Dr. Diaspora Singh ji, our Vice Chancellor, on whose behalf the entire university is working, and I welcome Dr. Gurmohan Singh ji Walia. He is the Vice Chancellor of Shri Guru Granth Sahib University, Dr. Sucha Singh ji Gill, Dr. Darshan Singh ji Tatla. I have already told you. Now actually this valedictory session doesn't appear to me to be a formal session. It is a family affair because all of us are friends, and we have been associated. I think we talk almost at least once a month.
And Dr. Pooja Sharma to welcome Pooja Gupta again, to welcome Dr. Sucha Singh ji Gill, and our very, very revered, a kind of mentor, mentor, advisor. और ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਇਹ ਕਾਨਫਰੰਸ ਲਿਖੀ ਹੈ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਰਹੀ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਸ਼ਾਰਟੇਜ ਖਾਣੀ ਹੁਣ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਬਾਹ ਫੜ ਕੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਲਿਆਂਦਾ ਐਂਡ sir, I give you a briefing about the conference, and then we'll have a report of all the sessions, and then we go
7 and 8 further work was done, and now the concept of diaspora development and migration, they are being debated and dwelt upon in all the disciplines. So we thought of organizing a conference in which through Center for Diaspora Studies we could connect the experts from multiple disciplines. And I say it with pride, and I have been saying it with pride since the day this conference began, that we have been able to make the people from more than 25 disciplines gather here, and they have been sharing their views in the context of diaspora and development. Now it is not only literature, films, media, ICT, psychology, philosophy, economics, sociology, and many other disciplines, management, commerce, and today we have experts because Dr. Walia, though his discipline is English, and Sucha Singh Gill, his discipline is economics. When we talk about diaspora and development, I think the major name in there, Darshan Singh Tatla, is the Center for Diaspora Studies है, ये तातला साता ही है. ਜਦੋਂ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਖੁੱਲਿਆ ਮੇਰੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਹੋਈ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਅੱਜ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਜੋ ਸਾਰੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਸੀ ਮੈਂ ਫੋਟੋ ਲਿਆ ਕੇ ਲਾ ਦਿਆਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਕਮਾਂਗਾ ਮਾਰਨ ਦੀ. ਮੇਰੇ ਘਰ ਬੜੀਆਂ ਫੋਟੋਆਂ ਪਈਆਂ ਡਾਇਸਪੋਰਾ ਦੀਆਂ. ਮੇਰੀ ਵੋਟੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਗੰਦ ਚੱਕ ਲਓ. ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦਿਓ, ਤੇ ਇਹ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਵਰਚੁਅਲੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਹੀ ਹੈ. ਔਰ ਜੋ ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਹ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਤਾਤਲਾ ਦੀ ਅਗਵਾਈ ਹੇਠ, ਪਲੈਨਿੰਗ ਹੇਠ, ਔਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਪਿਆਰ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਹਿਣ ਦਾ ਢੰਗ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਡਿਸਕਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ ਢੰਗ ਹੈ, ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਕੁਝ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਹੈ. I welcome you, sir.
Vice Chancellor, Punjabi University, Patiala. Dr. Sucha Singh Gill, Senior Professor, Research Coordinator, Great Chandigarh. Dr. Gurmohan Singh Walia, Vice Chancellor, Shri Guru Granth Sahib Studies, World University, Fatehgarh Sahib. Dr. Darshan Singh Tatma, an eminent academician on Diaspora Studies. Dr. Tejinder Kaur, Director of the Center, distinguished guests, delegates, faculty members, research scholars and students. I am thankful to the Director and her team for providing me an opportunity to present the comprehensive report of 11 technical sessions, 1 special lecture, 2 plenary sessions, 3 sessions of invited speakers, 1 panel discussion, and 1 on face-to-face with NRIs before this August audience. UDC Center for Diaspora Studies, Punjabi University, Patiala, organized 3 days international conference on Diaspora and Development, emerging multidisciplinary dynamics of Indian Punjabi Migration from 24th to 26th February 2016. An annual session was held on 24th February at University Senate Hall. Dr. Manjeet Singh, coordinator of the center, introduced the theme and sub-themes of the conference. He said that analyzing links between diaspora, migration and development has become one of the most fashionable and absorbing topics for academics in development studies across disciplines. He said that the objective of organizing the conference is to deliberate upon the important aspects of global equity and the role of transnational migrant communities towards bridging economic distance among less developed nations of their origin.
Vice Chancellor Dr. Dispal Singh, Dr. Gurmohan Walia, Vice Chancellor of the University, my friend Darshan Tatma, Dr. Tejinder Kaur, very enlightened participants in this conference, my old colleagues, dear students. It's always a privilege to come and speak in this hall. And the theme is very, very interesting. We have just now heard the report of the various sessions which bring out that several issues have been discussed, debated and talked. Diaspora is a focal point of the study. Now, Punjabi diaspora is distinct from other diaspora of this country. And it's very clearly noted when it plays positive role in the service of humanity as well as something which is not liked by others. So it's very, very well noted wherever they are. This is because they carry with them their basic cultural and social attributes. They enjoy life by eating and spending liberally. They are hardworking but adaptable to new situations. They are self-respecting and carry within them never die spirit and never accept defeat. They remain in what's called Chardi Kala. So this is a basic attribute of Punjabi community. They have a strong sense of community and faith in community activities, preferably through religious institutions. They are emotional people both in love and hate, and also in supporting a friend or eliminating an enemy. They are very quick to forget adversity and rise back to prosperity through hard work and sense of enterprise. They also enjoy going to difficult areas in search of better opportunities. They are multilingual in nature, and therefore they are diasporic in character. Now, this diasporic character makes them also to remain attached with their homeland, that is Punjab. So that's broad. Before discussing past history, present and future, I will like to raise 2 methodological points for the study of diaspora. Diaspora, to which we call migration in economics, is a phenomenon where population from one location to other location is taking place. It has both
positive sides as well as negative sides. And we classify them as cost of migration and benefits of migration. The decision to migrate is taken when both sides are taken into consideration, positive as well as negative sides. So when costs are less and benefits, expected benefits are more, individuals and families decide to migrate. So therefore, when we are looking at diaspora as a phenomenon, we must study both the aspects. Whenever we leave one aspect and emphasize another aspect, the understanding becomes effective. There are many scholars who are concerned with the cost of migration, not only economic cost, but cultural cost. Migrants tend to lose their language. They tend to lose their culture. And they suffer some kind of alienation. This is one aspect which is reflected in the poetry and the prose written by migrants.
So that won't be possible. Again, request is कि feedback अच्छी दें. ठीक है, circulate नहीं करना and don't carry it with you. And along with this, I thank everybody. I cannot name everybody who have been with us, who are with us, and who will be with us throughout. And I tell you, the credit for everything in this university goes to our Vice Chancellor.
Let me congratulate the center, particularly Professor Tejinder Kaur and Manjitender Singh ji and other staff members of the center for organizing this wonderful event. And as we have seen the valedictory, the report submitted by the center, read out by the center, we can estimate how many papers have been presented, how the discussions have taken place, and how many scholars have participated. So this was a big event, mega event. So I'm really complimenting the department for organizing this great event. I am thankful to Professor Sucha Singh Gill for accepting the invitation of the center of the university. He is part of the university. He was there. Even I came to this university long back, so he has a long association with the university. He is still part of our university. So I am really thankful, and he has delivered a wonderful talk on different aspects of our diaspora and the problems and whatever contribution they have made as a diasporic community. So I am really thankful. I am thankful to Gurban Walia ji for accepting our invitation. He has come from this university and he has shared his views also. Tatala is part of the center, is part of the university. He is working very hard as far as diasporic, different aspects of diaspora is concerned. So he deserves my thanks also on this occasion. So I'm particularly happy with the center because when we had the idea of establishing this type of center, we, I think, have never imagined that it will be such a great success for the university. So, and success in terms of what we have practically achieved. I am particularly happy because last year we decided to bring out volumes of diaspora community in particular different countries. And the first decision was taken that we will bring out within a year diaspora in Great Britain. So I am hopeful that in next year and then again we will be releasing on these conferences the different volumes of socio-economic profile of diaspora, Punjabi diaspora in different countries. So I am once again congratulating the department, and Professor Tatala was mentioning, please let me market my university also. In 2012,
we celebrated the 100th anniversary of Stockton Gurdwara. We went there as university, we organized a function, a seminar there. That is the Gurdwara, Stockton Gurdwara, which was in a way center of the activities of the Gadar movement. It was the center, and it's a great Gurdwara I have seen in my life. So we went there as university, we organized a conference very near to the Gurdwara Sahib in a seminar hall, big seminar we organized on behalf of our university in Stockton. Then in 2013, we went to Sacramento, where the head office of the Gadar movement, which is named as Yugantar Ashram. So we went to Yugantar Ashram and we organized a big function there. And I am happy that Sitaram Yechuri was the chief guest of I presided over the conference, and he also went from India to participate in that particular conference, and he released a volume of 700 pages on the Gadar movement. I think if you read out a 700 pages volume of Gadar movement prepared by our university, where we have covered almost all aspects of the Gadar movement, history of the Gadar movement, I think that was the biggest contribution of the university as far as diaspora studies. And then lately, last year, 2015 and 2014, before that, the government of India made a committee of few people to celebrate Tamagata Maru's 100th anniversary. And I was there, one of the members of the committee, and the government of India organized a number of functions on that occasion. But the government of India gave us a specific task. That was to publish Zulmi Katha, written by Baba Gurdit Singh, who took the Tamagata Maru ship on rent, and the whole episode belongs actually to Baba Gurdit. He was the iconic figure of that event. So, Zulmi Katha, written by Baba Gurdit Singh, is printed by our university, published by our university. Then the government of India gave us another work to translate it into English. So now we have translated the Zulmi Katha written by Baba Gurdit Singh into English. So that is also published by our university. And the third decision which was taken by the meeting, by the committee, or which was made by the government of India, that was to prepare a theatre on the incident of Tamagata Maru. And our theatre department, theatre and television department, prepared a theatre, full-fledged depiction of that particular event. And I'm happy to announce that I think more than 20 shows of that particular preparation made by our theatre department has been shown to people. Last year we were in Kharagpur, IIT Kharagpur asked for the presentation of that particular item. Then in Calcutta, in Bombay, in Chandigarh, in Jaipur, and next month we are going to present that preparation in Delhi again. So I'm not marketing my university, but I'm just saying that as far as historical events which are somewhere connected with the diasporic movement, we are here to promote those events, to share what has happened and what is the contribution of the Punjabi diasporic community throughout the world. So once again, I am really very happy with the center, and I hope that this momentum will go on. As we have seen in the last 2, 3, 4 years, I think we will organize a number of other events, seminars, talks, interviews, rubru, or whatever